Hi guys, it's Miss Spada. I have one of my favorite book series here that I wanted to start in our next read aloud book. And this is called the Time Warp Trio book series. And I've got four of the books that are in the series. First one is called The Knights of the Kitchen Table. Now, all the names have sort of like a joke or a pun in them. And so it's normally Knights of the Round Table, but this one is called Knights of the Kitchen Table. These books are about three boys. Let's see, it's Sam, Joe, and Fred. And they travel in time and go on these cool adventures. Now, this type of a book is a fantasy book. It can never really happen in real life. But the cool thing is, a lot of these books are based off of actual people or actual places or time periods. And it kind of makes it a little more relatable because in the Knights of the Kitchen Table book, you're going to meet Merlin, a wizard, and King Arthur, and Guinevere, and some other scary characters in this one. So this is the first one in the series that I wanted to read. The second one is called The Not So Jolly Roger. The third one is The Good, the Bad, and the Goofy. And the fourth one, Your Mother Was a Neanderthal. All right, so our very first book, The Knights of the Kitchen Table, I'm going to read it to you all. Now, if we were in school, some of you all would get to read this one, and it's really a little bit higher than a second grade level book, but I think you're going to really like it. I know my fourth graders used to read these, and we would read them out loud as readers' theater because there's a lot of drama in them. So you're going to hear me change my voice some. It's action-packed, so I might get fast and loud because a good reader will put that feeling in there when the mood needs to be a little more intense. So let's get started. By the way, these are all written by John, I can never say his last name right, Scieszka. But he also wrote a really funny book called The Stinky Cheese Man. And it's like all these collections of fairy tales, but it's like a twist on them. So they're not quite the normal version. They're like a funnier version. And so anyways, let's get started with the Knights of the Kitchen Table. Halt, vile knaves! Prepare to die! Is he talking to us? Asked Fred. I looked around the small clearing. A dirt path went from one end to the other. Fred, Sam, and I stood at one end. A large guy on a black horse stood at the other. He was dressed from head to toe in black armor, like you see in those books about knights and castles. I don't see any other vile knaves around, I said. Sam cleaned his glasses on his t-shirt and looked another look at the end of the path. Yes, there is a black knight down there. The sun glinted off a very real and very sharp-looking sword hanging from the black knight's side. So already in the first page of this book, you can see the way that the characters speak, like the Black Knight, are different from how we speak in real life. Here's some pictures too I got to show you as we go. And yes, he's looking like he's planning on hurting us, added Sam. Hey, it's not my fault, I said. I told Fred not to open it. You did not, said Fred. Did too. Did not. Did too. Excuse me, guys, said Sam. Can we discuss this later? I think that large angry man in the black can is getting ready to kill us now. The Black Knight lowered his lance and set his shield in front of him. Hello there, Mr. Knight, sir, I called across the clearing. My name is Joe. My friends and I seem to have lost our way from my birthday party. If you could just take us to the nearest phone. None shall pass, boomed the Black Knight. if you could just point out the way toward New York, then we'll be on our way, and none shall pass. I think I heard that somewhere before, said Sam. Thy tongue and garb art passing strange. Methinks thy band hails not from the shore. What did he say? Asked Fred. He said we look funny and we're probably not from around here, I said. And you are right, Sir Knight, I called across the clearing. I threw in that sir part because they always talk like that in the night books. We are not from around here, and we would just as soon get out of here if you would just point that long, sharp stick of yours. Silence, infidels, or mayhap enchanters, in thy weird robes and boots. We looked at each other. We are all wearing jeans, t-shirts, and sneakers. We looked at the Black Knight. He had on metal-pointed shoes, armored pants, an armored coat with hinges at the elbows and shoulders, and a huge metal helmet that looked like a black bell, all topped off with a fluffy black feather. His horse was likewise done up in a black skirt, a black saddle as an armchair, and a matching helmet with a helmet thing with a fluffy black feather. Weird robes and boots, said Sam. Look who's talking. The Tin Man with feathers. He even dresses his horse funny. Enough of thy evil spells and chants, magicians. Prepare to die. I think I like the none shall pass stuff better than the prepare to die stuff, said Sam. The Black Knight flipped down the visor on his helmet. Do something, said Fred. Like what? I said. Like say some magic words. The Black Knight spurred his horse into a trot. Please, thank you. Not those magic words, you silly. Real magic words, like the ones your Uncle Joe uses. Abracadabra? The horse picked up speed. Hocus pocus, I shouted. Eeny, meeny, miny, mo. The Black Knight thundered toward us, his lance pointed directly at us. We were about to be killed more than 1,000 years before we were even born. And that's the end of our first chapter. So if you see, there's real short chapters, and I love the little pictures as we go. There's a lot of dialogue. The characters talk a lot to each other, back and forth. Now let's talk about the characters. There's Joe. And Joe, when I read for Joe, I use my normal voice because he is kind of one of the main characters. They're all three main characters, but the story is told partly from his point of view. So anytime it said, I said, it's really Joe that's saying that. Then there's Fred. And Fred's a cool guy, so I kind of do a deeper voice, kind of like I don't really care voice. I'm a cool guy. And then there's Sam. And Sam is very intelligent, very smart, and likes to point out when people do things wrong. He's very critical, but in a kind of a smart way. So I make my voice sound a little more nasally, almost kind of like nerdy a little bit. But Sam is a really funny character. He's probably one of my favorite characters in these stories because he sometimes doesn't care that it's a big Black Knight, like how he called him, look at you Tin Man. You're tin can, you're wearing a tin. We're not wearing robes. He just doesn't care, and he's just really funny sometimes. So are they going to live, survive, or are they going to get killed by the Black Knight? We don't know. Stay tuned for the next